In today's lesson, we'll be learning about SOH CAH TOA, which is also known as the primary trigonometric ratios. In a previous lesson, we learned that SOH CAH TOA is a mnemonic which helps us remember the primary trigonometric ratios. The SOH in SO helps us remember this ratio, while the CAH in CA helps us remember this ratio, and the TOA in TOA helps us remember this ratio. This tool is a protractor and it helps us measure angles. This would be a 90-degree angle. Anything smaller than 90 degrees is considered an acute angle. For example, this is a 60-degree angle and it is also an acute angle. While anything larger than 90 degrees would be considered an obtuse angle. For example, this angle is 120 degrees. This would also be considered an obtuse angle. In our first example, we have a right triangle. We want to find this unknown, labeled theta. In other words, we want to find this unknown angle. Before doing any calculations, let's make an estimate of this unknown angle. Is it a right angle, an obtuse angle, or an acute angle? This is definitely an acute angle, and it appears to be about 30 degrees, and that is going to be my estimate. If I'm positioned over here at theta, this side would be considered the hypotenuse, since it is the longest side. This side would be considered the opposite side, since it is across from us. And this side would be considered the adjacent side, since it is located beside us. Remember, we're trying to find this unknown angle. And to find an unknown, we're going to need some information. We know the opposite side is 5 centimeters, and we know the adjacent side is 8 centimeters. Therefore, I'm going to circle the opposite and adjacent side since we know information for them. We are not going to use the hypotenuse since we have no information, and no information is not going to help us find an unknown. At this point, take a look at your 3 trigonometric ratios. Which one contains opposite and adjacent? You'll notice that this ratio contains both opposite and adjacent, and that is the ratio that we're going to use to find this unknown angle. Take a look at this ratio. We don't know what theta is. That is what we're looking for. So this is going to remain unchanged. I'm going to replace opposite with the number 5, and I'm going to replace adjacent with the number 8. I can't really do anything with tan theta, so that is going to stay the same. But what about 5 over 8? This is actually 5 divided by 8. I want you to put that into your calculator. You should get 0.625. Something looks very wrong here. I estimated our unknown angle to be about 30 degrees, but I'm getting a very small number here. To change this number into something more reasonable, I'm going to have to use a new button on my calculator. It's going to look like tan with a -1 beside it. If using a phone, you'll likely have to turn your phone sideways. Now, to access this button, you'll likely have to press the second button, or the inverse button, or the shift button, then the tan -1 button. Depending on your calculator, you may have to press this button first, then put this number in, or put this number in first, then press this button. You should get something close to 32 degrees. If you remember, before doing any calculations, we made an estimate. We estimated this unknown angle to be about 30 degrees, since it appeared to be an acute angle. After doing our calculations, we got something pretty similar. Therefore, this unknown angle is 32 degrees.